Every member of Congress is important. Some have even more influence based on the committees they serve on. In this video, we will discuss the role of committees, highlight leadership positions within committees, and identify committees that matter most to the SMA community. So, what is the purpose of a committee? Committees are used in both the U.S. Senate and U.S. House to gather information and to consider, draft, and recommend legislation to the rest of Congress. Committees are formed around large policy areas, such as transportation or housing. Committees utilize subcommittees to further break down these broad issues. For example, the U.S. House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, which covers transportation issues, includes 6 subcommittees, one focused solely on aviation issues and another on highways and transit systems. Members of Congress who serve on the committee and subcommittees related to your issue are especially important during the legislative process. They will have more opportunities to influence legislation on that issue. For example, legislation on accessible air travel must first win the approval of the Aviation Subcommittee and then the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee before the entire U.S. House of Representatives weighs in on the legislation. So, on transportation issues, members of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee are especially influential. Similarly, Cure SMA advocates who live in the congressional districts of committee members will have the greatest influence on that issue, given they are local constituents. Membership of the committees differs in size, but generally have between 25 and 50 members. The most important committee members are the ones who serve as chair and ranking member. The chair is the head of the committee who dictates the committee agenda, including what hearings are held and which bills within the committee's jurisdiction will be considered. The ranking member is the chair's counterpart from the minority party, so essentially the second in charge. Cure SMA focuses our education and engagement with the chair and ranking member, given that they have the most influence on that issue. So, with that background on committees, the next question is, which committees matter most to the SMA community? The answer is several, given the SMA community cares about a wide range of issues. For healthcare issues, for example, the key committees are the Energy and Commerce Committee and Ways and Means Committee in the U.S. House, and the Finance Committee and the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee in the U.S. Senate. For transportation issues, such as accessible air travel or Amtrak, the key committees are the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee in the U.S. House and the Commerce Committee in the U.S. Senate. For education and employment matters, the key committees are the Education and Labor Committee in the U.S. House and the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee in the U.S. Senate. Given funding is so critical to federal programs important to people with SMA, Cure SMA also closely engages with the U.S. House and U.S. Senate Appropriations Committees, which fund all aspects of the U.S. federal government. You can now use this information to advocate on the issues important to you and the SMA community. You'll want to sign up to be a Cure SMA advocate through our Advocacy Sign-Up Center and take action using Cure SMA's Action Center. And if you have questions or need assistance, don't hesitate to contact Cure SMA Advocacy. Thank you for your interest in advocacy.